Hello and welcome to Lunchtime News. I am Rodon Gonzi. We'll get started. The anti-corruption agencies and stakeholders want the young generation to be taught the effects of corruption. During the Uganda Speech and Debate Champions League by students on the fight against corruption in Kampala, it was noted that corruption affects service delivery. The debate is a precursor to the International Anti-Corruption Week that starts on 9th December in Ibanda District.
All Ugandans and all of us are fighting corruption, including you, the media. And our plight is, as government, let the media help us. We fight together to remove this vice, this cancer called what? Called corruption. We need to unite our hands together so that we can support each other to find out how we can eliminate this cancer called corruption.
Through non-declaration and under-declaration of taxes. That is one of the main sources of revenue loss. Non-declaration and under-declaration of taxes, non-declaration and under-declaration of utility user fees, absenteeism from work. People get paid salaries but they don't work, but the money goes. Then we have inflated payrolls. The minister, in the minister's statement today, we can estimate that this government has almost 6,000 payrolls, but almost on each of those payrolls, there are ghost soldiers and ghost workers and also ghost service consumers, like ghost students and ghost teachers. And almost every payroll in schools, in hospitals, they have inflated payrolls. So those are the activities through which money has been lost.
Now, the Equal Opportunities Commission has called upon government agencies to submit their budget framework papers for the financial year 2023-24 for assessment to ensure inclusivity for all Ugandans. During the press conference held at the Equal Opportunities Commission's offices in Kampala, Honorable Serwaji Habibu, a member of the Commission, says out of 20 government agencies, only 2 have complied to the submission of the budget framework papers, yet the deadline is due. He further highlighted on the effects of the delay in submission of the budget framework papers. Can we take a look?
This call goes to all those government agencies that the Equal Opportunities Commission is mandated to assess your government programs, and you are almost running out of time. So you are called upon to immediately and urgently forward all your BFPs for assessment. Delayed submission of budget framework papers by programs affects the assessment and the certification process. The Commission calls upon program heads to adhere to the requirements of the law and ensure timely submission to guide the assessment. Government of Uganda is committed to achieving a gender equality, and this can be realized through inclusive plans and budgets. And we don't want people, most especially the vulnerable, to be left behind. So that is why we assess these budgets, look at them clearly, and see that at least the other groups that have always been the minority and the marginalized are inclusive of the development programs.
Don't submit your programs, then that means that we shall make recommendations that your programs were not submitted to Equal Opportunities Commission for assessment to the Ministry of Finance and Parliament of Uganda. So when you go to Parliament to ask for your budget will be turned down, and you won't be able to implement that program that is not inclusive of all Ugandans.
Stakeholders in the criminal justice system have been called upon to protect inmates living with HIV. This has been revealed in the Criminal Justice System Stakeholders meeting held in Mbarara.
Child that you're trying to protect.
Working with the Ministry of Health, supporting the TB program as a community system and behavior change communication specialist.
This is what we do as prosecutors.
Need to draft policies and guidelines to include the 3 diseases, need to retain peers in prisons on human rights barriers to access and uptake of HIV, TB and malaria services, need to sensitize political and members of parliament on their role in the removal of human rights barriers, sensitize top managers on their role in removing barriers, the above. The audit people observed that the practice at police has been to screen also results in a reintegration to the community. Court takes long hours to hear cases. Those on treatment attending court may not be able to take their treatment since they may not have food to eat, given the fact that
when they rounded up and brought to the prison, then they have an opportunity on entry to find out their status, and it's actually positive. That's why the prison have 13% males and 15% females HIV positive, contrary to the national average of about 6%.
When a person has HIV, we don't have to look at them as something foreign has happened to them. They remain human beings equal to every other person. And so we are supposed to give them equal treatment, not to stigmatize them, because when we stigmatize them, they are not able to take their medication. They begin to fear. They begin to hide in taking medication. And if there is no hiding place, then they do not take medication. And when they do not take medication, then the problem comes back to society when that person is released to society. And an HIV person who has not been on medication is very infectious, we all know. Yet, if we handled stigma very well and kept our suspects on medication, we would enable them to take medication and therefore reduce the stigma and reduce the HIV in that person. For if we have a man who has sex with men and is HIV positive and is admitted into such a prison where people sleep one against the other, we cannot know, we are not sure that such a person will not be transmitting HIV to the person they sleep next or they sleep against. So we are looking forward to having either expansion of the prisons or put in place mechanisms that reduce the congestion in prisons. The other barrier we can talk about is the legal barrier, that is the barriers related to laws and policies. We have the HIV Act, which requires mandatory testing in cases of in sexual offenses or cases related to sex.
And now, the Directorate of Industrial Training at the Ministry of Education and Sports will conduct competence-based assessment, level 1 to 2, modular and industrial assessment beginning on Tuesday, the 6th of December. Now, Director DIT, Dr. Patrick Vyakatonda, appeals to assessors to be ethical and trustworthy when exercising their duties.
Over 14,000 candidates from 434 sitting assessment centers countrywide are to undergo the competence-based assessment level 1 to 3, modular and industrial assessment. They are to be assessed in over 100 occupations, including electrical installation, bricklaying, motor vehicle mechanics, hairdressing, among others. The Directorate of Industrial Training, Dr. Patrick Vyakatonda, says over 600 assessors, verifiers and coordinators have been deployed to evaluate the exercise. Vyakatonda calls on them to be vigilant while exercising their due responsibilities.
We are addressing our assessors. This is the cohort in December. We have started the assessment in December. Mainly the assessment in December is industrial based from industries because the training institutions have now closed. We have ESCO code of conduct So if you violate the ethics, then we penalize you, we disqualify you, but we can also imprison you.
Byakatonda reminds assessors and institutions to observe both assessment and health prevention guidelines.
We have provided them with the guidelines, and we shall continue training our assessors, because the assessors for DIT's case, the assessor is the final person, and you assess what you know.
The Principal Qualifications Officer to Asimira Johnson says the Directorate has embraced digital technology to minimize the errors in the certification exercise.
We also have registration online. Those who cannot come to DIT, with time we shall be reaching out to centers to induct you. Now you can register online, but still when you call us, we connect you to our systems administrator. Isaac here.
Over 75,000 candidates have been assessed by the Directorate of Industrial Training from July up to date. Henry Muganga compiled the story.
And now Alonzo Lawrence, commonly known as Dangote, has been sworn in as the 88th Guild President of Makerere University. This follows a tight race between opponent Hussein Ibra, who was voted out during the online election last week. At the swearing-in ceremony, the Guild Cabinet and the GRCs from different colleges pledged commitment to serve to the students' expectation and be exemplary to the university administration.
After the suspension of the Guild campaigns and students' activities at Makerere University because of the Guild campaign violence that led to the loss of a student supporter, Makerere University Council loosened the nuts and allowed only online voting. This is the first of its kind in Makerere University history.
I therefore declare Alonzo Lawrence as the 88th Guild President. Thank you.
Alonzo Lawrence, codenamed Dangote, emerged the winner in the tight race between his rival Hussein Ibra, who lost with a big margin. Now, Alonzo Lawrence has been sworn in as the 88th Guild President of Makerere University.
I, Alonzo Lawrence, swear that I shall discharge my duties as the Guild President of Makerere University Students Guild with all honesty and to the best of my ability, abiding fully by the Constitution. Help me God.
The Guild Cabinet and the GRCs from different colleges also pledged total commitment to serve to the students' expectation.
We, members of Students with Disability, swear that we shall discharge our duties with all responsibility and the best of our ability, abiding fully by the Constitution. May God help us.
To all the Makererians out there, where I have reached, I have then ceased to be an NUP candidate. I have ceased to be a North Core candidate. I am the Guild President of Makerere University, and that requires me to know no political color, no blue, no yellow, no red, but serve that which benefits the common Makerere. And it is against that background that I will shamelessly offer a hand of brotherhood to all these my friends, all these fellow Makererians, to come on board and work together to take this very short government to make its impact. And I am more than willing to do so with you on the front line.
Officiating at the ceremony, Makerere University Deputy Vice Chancellor, Finance and Administration, Professor Henry Alnaitwe, urged the newly elected students' body to be exemplary while serving and denounce the acts of violence as Makerere is celebrating 100 years.
And you know, now you are going to have new representatives to council, because the students also sit on council. Use those channels to deliver your messages, but also to provide good feedback. Let's not all the time be at war. Makerere is not a war zone. Let's have a war, but which is based on reasoning and good thinking and good direction. That's what I request you, Mr. Alionzi to do.
The Guild President, Alonzo Lawrence, and his cabinet will be short-lived for 3 months, and the new Guild body will come in. Joseph Bule, UBC, Makerere University.
With that, we take a quick break. When we return, business news. This is Lunchtime News.
Shimba live ku Kampala Serena Hotel, Victoria Hall, Friday nga mwena December, Negu Saturday nga 10 December. Okwingira shinje mtwalo 15, emeze likaba ntomunana ya milioni 3. Hate alebadi wagulanga bujali, mtwalo 10. Eno 2 days mega concert, ku Sunday nga 11, Freedom City, 16 December, Chotera Msawe, 17 December, Mbarara, Ajip Motel, 17 December, Fort Porto, au Mobuhinga Stadium. One next shillings mtwalo kumu VIP mtwale 3. Beautiful Shimba, swag mama, ice cream, queen gama, wakukonko na nyimba zezona, hit to hit, kati musale wunga buchalaba. Tusale ko Serena, mwitino wana bubaira mos butekelo, wana bubasiria pizza matuga mpuma. Kati events, leti setinze, ne
MTN.
Welcome to Friends Stadium. Everybody's ready. Wait a second, not everybody. Come on, dude, it's the FIFA World Cup. You're going to lose your seat, the ritual seat, the lucky one. Losing more than a seat, your team is going to lose. Where are you, dude? The match is about to start. Your friends won't hold out much longer. Excuse me. Finally, everything is in the right place. Hey, other hand. And you, do you have everything you need to believe? Paying for groceries the old way.
3, 4, yeah.
Allow me. Paying for groceries with the My Airtel app. You have the power in your pocket. The power to conveniently pay for goods and services. Unlock that power with the My Airtel app. Visit the App Store or Google Play now.
That's my wife.
Welcome to the Living Room Stadium. It's the FIFA World Cup. The match is about to start. Food and drink ready. There's no space left for anyone. Come on, get your lucky chair. Take your usual spot. Even the puppy has one. It's preparation time. You can feel the tension in the air. And do you have everything you need to believe?
We can't tolerate sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment is unacceptable in our school.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
Shimba live ku Kampala Serena Hotel, Victoria Hall, Friday nga mwena December, Negu Saturday nga 10 December. Okwingira shinje mtwalo 15, emeze likaba ntomunana ya milioni 3. Hate alebadi wagulanga bujali, mtwalo 10. Eno 2 days mega concert, ku Sunday nga 11, Freedom City, 16 December, Chotera Msawe, 17 December, Mbarara, Ajip Motel, 17 December, Fort Porto, au Mobuhinga Stadium. One next shillings mtwalo kumu VIP mtwale 3. Beautiful Shimba, swag mama, ice cream, queen gama, wakukonko na nyimba zezona, hit to hit, kati musale wunga buchalaba. Tusale ko Serena, mwitino wana bubaira mos butekelo, wana bubasiria pizza matuga mpuma. Kati events, leti setinze, ne
MTN. The Ministry of Health informs the public that there are confirmed cases of Ebola in Uganda. We, however, urge the public not to panic as the situation is being managed. The Ministry of Health further reminds the public to be on the lookout for any persons who may show signs and symptoms of Ebola. These include high body temperature, abdominal pains, diarrhea, vomiting, bleeding from the body openings such as the nose, eyes, and mouth. Please inform inform the nearest health worker immediately if you see anyone with these signs and symptoms. To prevent Ebola from spreading further, please take the following preventive measures: regular washing of hands with water and soap, avoid handshaking and hugging, avoiding any contact with any suspected Ebola patients. Any person who dies suddenly should not be buried but reported to the nearest health worker or LC1 immediately. For further information, please call the Ministry of Health toll-free number on 0800 100 066 or send a free SMS to your report on 8500. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and World Health Organization.
Welcome back. Now on business news, the in charge of gender at Private Sector Foundation, Hope Jemima Kasimbazi, has advised entrepreneurs to register businesses in order to access funding at Private Sector Foundation. She was attending the 7th grade Sundowner in Kampala, where renowned innovator Professor Julius Nyanzi trained over 1,000 in different businesses.
The only solution to poverty eradication is engaging in business to earn a livelihood. Today, business requires skills and innovation, which are lacking in most entrepreneurs, while among the youth uptake is low due to lack of skills. But innovator Professor Julius Nyanzi of Prof by Research has trained over 1,000 in skills that earn money in the 1-week 7th grade Sundowner.
If we need a better Uganda, it's upon us to empower each other. And I normally tell people, each one help one. It's all about helping each other. When we work together, we become stronger. But they need this information in order for them to improve their lives, and more so to change the way they think about things. That is the mindset, because their mindset today is all about music, fun and entertainment. It's not bad, it's because it's leisure, but at the end of the day, one needs to be productive, because it's the productivity which drives the country forward. You cannot talk about economic growth when people are not productive.
But Uganda's economy is private sector led and creates over 3 million employment opportunities. The Private Sector Foundation of Uganda also funds innovators in the small and medium-scale enterprises.
This is a special day for me, and Julius, I would like to thank you so much for teaching people how to survive. Kubanga, we have very few jobs in Uganda, but Julius is creating very many jobs, particularly for women. I see very many women doing what Julius taught them. Women are determined. Now I've seen men, they have picked up. So Julius, we thank you so much.
The 7th grade Sundowner trained participants in technology and innovation, value addition, for which the private sector can fund.
Private Sector Foundation Uganda, we have very many opportunities for people like you. Now, if you have business, it's very important to register the business. You go to URSB. URSB is Uganda Registration Bureau Services. You register your company. Register your companies so that the company is official, and we are getting a lot of money at private sector in agriculture and for women and many others, recovery of COVID. So if you know private sector, we are on plot 43 Nakasero Road. You enter, there are very many opportunities. People have been trained.
Abiona Francisco, UBC News.
And that does it for Lunchtime News. I am Rotangonzi. Have yourselves a lovely afternoon.